seed saving is something that I think is really um, important, and I'm just glad to know that you're doing it and you're creating the information for people to do it properly. It's not rocket science, right? But it is, there is some technique that you have to use to do it, and I think if you are endeavoring to grow food for yourself, it's a great way, it's a sustainable way to continue to have food for yourself and your family. You
Yeah.
know, it doesn't
And
mean
like,
that you can't buy seeds every year, but it's a great way to like keep the varieties that you really enjoy.
yeah. Yeah, it's just so much fun.
It
it's
is
like
so much
it's like
fun.
everybody does something that they could. Well, everybody that I know
Yeah,
does
yeah,
like
yeah,
something like interesting, like, oh, like, Andy makes the maple syrup, and this person does
yeah,
knitting, and this person, So
yeah,
if it's like this person has the seeds, um, that's just like a cool person to be, or that's the
yeah,
person I want to be.
yeah, yeah. It's kind
I
of
want
a
to be the.
currency too, you know. I really wanted to dive a little bit more into the economics
Oh
of
yeah,
seed saving because,
we
on
could
my
talk
show I
about it
do.
a little bit right now, and you could cut it in if you want.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, I spend a lot of time on this podcast just trying to look at, the health aspects of things, and when it comes to seed and vegetables and fruit, that
Yeah,
plays into the nutrient density of things and soil health. I also like to talk about the environmental impacts, but especially
yeah,
the economic impacts. I think a lot of times the economic impacts get glazed over because they don't impact people, say, immediately, right? You feel it at some point, but it's not an immediate impact. But there's always some economic externality that gets paid in any industry. And so I'd
yeah,
love to hear your thoughts about the economic impacts and or economic, sustainability, if there is such a thing with seeds. What does that look like in the seed business?
yeah. I think it's especially with organic. I think there's some opportunities, um, because the organic movement is growing. Every year it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So there's consumer demand for organic food, um, meaning organic farmers have to buy certified organic seed.
Sure.
And if a variety is not available certified organic, they actually are allowed to buy the non certified organic version of that variety. But
Really?
that makes, yeah, if it's not available at all. And it's like, say they're a farm and they really want to grow this type of butternut squash, and it's just, they make the case where um, they can't find it, then they're allowed. So, what organic seed producers can do is just not have them have an excuse um, to not have those certified uh, organic varieties available.
So it's like
So
crowdsourcing a little bit, yeah?
yeah, so part of like what I do to a small degree, but it's definitely significant, is just kind of look out there and see what do people like, and is it certified organic? Like, so like one of our beans that we just keep selling out of is pole bean called Vortex. It's just an open pollinated bean, but for some reason people love it in Minnesota. It's like one of the top selling. And I got a bunch of recommendations to grow it before we grew it, and it was a good choice because it's a hot seller. But I don't see that bean is certified organic in a lot of places. So we could make a hot seller a really hot seller and have
Yeah.
it for certified organic. And now people that are interested in it, that are organic, might be not forced in a way, but maybe. I mean, and that's not such a bad thing. I mean, they're looking for organic seed. We've got the organic um, variety for that. So that's an opportunity, I think. And then
Mhm.
the other opportunity of seed saving just generally is, if you look at a head of lettuce or some, there's a plant called ground cherries, and they're a Native American plant, and
I
I
love
guess
them.
just, yeah, ground cherries are amazing. So one plant of ground cherries might, and ground cherries actually maybe not the best example because they're actually a pretty pricey food because you have to pick it by hand. Um, but one plant of ground cherries might get you maybe 20
Like a
flats of
thousand.
cherries. Right, yeah.
Yeah, like
But
thousands
then
of seeds.
right, that's the thing. So you could have 100 flats of ground cherries at $4, which is $400. Or you could have probably what that would produce is something like thousands upon thousands of seeds.
Yeah.
And then lettuce is a better example because you have a head of lettuce for however much that is, a few dollars. But a head of lettuce will later form a stalk and then seeds, and you will have up to 10,000 seeds. Oh my God!
Wow.
You can make
For
hundred.
one seed.
You can make 100 times at least the amount that versus the head of
Yeah.
lettuce. So if done right, seed saving just inherently, if you're just like a person that's smart about money generally, you just look at it and you're like, hey, this makes more sense
Yeah. You're
than
killing it.
farming.
Profit margins.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I sell a tomato for $2. I get 100 seeds out of one tomato,
Right.
and maybe
Or you
more, but
sell like you sell one tomato that takes you a whole season to grow. It takes your time, it takes amendments, it takes, lots of other things, the cost of water and whatever. Or
yeah,
you can sell, you sell that one tomato for two or $3 or whatever. Or you can grow uh, a row of tomatoes and harvest them all for seed, get 10,000 seeds from,
right.
25, like a one packet, 50 seeds or whatever, and get, 100 times that. And then it's just straight profit. You've already recouped your money, even with the energy and the amendments and stuff it takes to grow and harvest it. I mean, it really is an interesting business
Yeah.
model,
Yeah, we're
you
trying
know,
to get
because
in. Yeah, we're trying to figure out. Um, I'm still learning with farming, so I'm just still learning about what we can do differently. And I think this year we're gonna try to do a market garden and do the seed saving. So we're gonna try to be doing it both. This last year I just wanted to. It's a new farm, so just concentrate 100% on the seed stuff. So we do it right, and then now we kind of got a little bit of a handle on it where I know that I have extra for market. So we got the market end, we got the seed end, we got our end where we're preserving everything ourselves just for our own,
right,
um,
your own consumption.
yeah, own people
Mhm.
here. So yeah, that's kind of the economics of it. It's like the how much money profit versus how yeah what that brings to your own life as well. But in terms
Yeah.
of like profit, like I know some companies. I probably just won't mention my name just because. But some small regional seed companies that do pretty good sales, it's still hard to make that like your only job. So there's something still inherently wrong with our food system where the value of this stuff is still undervalued. And at some point, uh, when when our when our big food system starts crashing or whatever it takes in the next 20 years because we can't farm the way we're farming, and we have a paradigm shift and all that, then our the value of what we have will go up, and the value of the Walmart food will go down.
That's what we hope for
And
anyway.
maybe the price. I mean, and if the value is going down, our value is going up for us, then the demand will go up. So then the prices will kind of even out and make more sense for yeah for
Yeah, I
uh,
mean,
and that's what's
that
happening now in organic. I think I've seen like prices of some organic things just go down a lot in the last like 10 years, and where organic before is almost like unmanageable. I think And yeah, the other thing is
But it
local.
kind of depends on what it is too. I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
to be completely honest, if we're being intellectually honest, then we know that there is a percentage of organic food that shows up in the marketplace that is imported from other countries that have no regulations.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
and it's
really good
hard to
point.
trace. Our labeling laws are kind of askew. They're not reliable, and so it's hard to trust anything 100%, right? But
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think if we do our due diligence and we keep ourselves educated and we educate each other by continuing to have conversations like this so that we all stay informed about like what's really happening and what are the expectations? What can we really expect? Can we really, trust the berries that are coming in the clamshell from Walmart or the frozen broccoli that's, over at the discount grocery store because those things are on the rise.
Yeah,
People are
that's
if
true.
we're talking about economics, right? Like people are getting crunched right now because they're out of work, like the economy's a mess right now. And so people are looking for cheap food. We've gotten used to getting cheap food because of the trade, because of NAFTA, right?
Yep.
Because of
Yeah,
our
this is
trade,
all
right? So it's
good
kind of a
stuff.
hot
Yeah.
mess, you know? And
Yeah.
so we have to find some kind of balance. We know that the international trade isn't going to stop, but there is a percentage of the marketplace and people and consumers that don't want to support that, right? Because there's just other unsavory externalities that are connected to that, like slave labor, like chemicals, like a lack of regulations, like arsenic and salmonella and all kinds of like challenges when we start
Mhm.
talking about imported food. And so it just makes the case really to shore up our local sources of
Yeah.
food. Let's connect with each other. Let's talk about what we're doing. Let's try to support each other and leverage the successes that we're all having in our
Mhm.
local communities in some way. And maybe somebody will figure out how to really do that. I hope that at least in one
Yeah.
small way, I'm trying to do it by just opening up the floor to people like you to talk about it.
Yeah, that's it. I couldn't have said all that better. That's exactly right. I think yeah, it all comes always comes down to looking at your local food co-ops and local farmers and
CSAs.
yeah, like we had that happen too in last March with the pandemic. I'm on the board for a local food co-op, and man, the amount of trust in our little food co-op just went up like
Yeah,
2 to 3
skyrocketed.
times. Like
Yeah,
we're able, I mean, we're already kind of set to move to a new location, but now we're like in a way better place than before, and it's amazing to see, and hopefully that trend just keeps growing.
hopefully.
And yeah.
Hopefully. I'm excited to see it growing. Every farmer that I've talked to in this Farmer Spotlight series is exploding. Their business is exploding because people want to be able to know where their food's coming from. They want to be able to trust. They want to be able to look into your eyes and
Yeah.
know that you're not lying to them because, the public trust has just been obliterated.
And I think
So,
we've learned so much more too with like soil health and what's really
mhm,
important on the farm. And we're learning
absolutely.
so much more too about like how economics really work, and incorporating stuff like agritourism and having people on the farm and like
Yeah.
whatever works, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
have the hayride and make it fun. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be this one way. It's whatever, and what we learn in sustainable farming and just farming in general, the right way to do it is just you're always observant of the resources of our ecology around us and our community around us, and you adapt. And
Mhm.
it's not the survival of the fittest, it's the survival of what adapts. It's not
Mm.
the strongest don't survive, all the Trump people out there. It's like it's not just about strength,
He who
it's
adapts.
about adaptation. And
Yeah.
that's it. It's adaptation and balance, and yeah, all those great things that you're saying about um adapting to our to where we are. I mean, we live in local environments. We should be bound to an extent to our local natural resources, and I think people are starting to get excited about um, what's around us and give it a. And we have the time to do it. We
Yeah.
we're
I guess if there's
at
one
least in
thing.
America,
Yeah, yeah.
we
Totally,
got some
totally.
time. We got some free time
Yeah. Which is
worth
great.
looking into. Yeah.
Totally.